morning, or depending when you're watching this, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. My name's Ross, and as always told out of Voice of Radio, so today we need to look at Paradise Dragona. I showed you some new EXs and a new ace spec from this set yesterday, but today we need to have a chat about, well, frankly, everything else. There's a lot of cards that are going to be revealed, a lot of cards we need to be having a little bit of a chat about. So let's start off with a new supporter card. We've got ourselves a new Lisia. Now, this is a supporter, like we've had Lisia before, but not for a while. It has been a while since we got our last Lisia card. If anybody's keeping count, and I'm sure there's a few people out there that are, moderately popular character. Yeah, we got one back in Celestial Storm. I'm showing you the full art because the full art's lovely. Point is, it's been a while, ladies and gentlemen. It's been a while. Was it worth the wait? Well, what we've got here is a supporter card that lets you gust one of your opponent's Pokemon into the active as long as they are a basic and then they are confused. And this actually brings together what seems to be the two themes of the set so far. We've got Dragon. Lisia is a Dragon Pokemon trainer. And basics. We got a bunch of cards that help basics, and we got some cards that hurt basics. This is only against basic Pokemon. So look, most of the time, this is a worse boss's orders. Because only being able to get basic Pokemon is a huge downside. But gusting plus confusion is clearly great. But it's not going to work against all decks, and that's basically where we end up here. It's brilliant if you think you're going to play against enough basic decks, but it's not good enough in other matchups, and it doesn't do anything else. Either you gust and confuse, yay, or you do nothing, and the risk of doing nothing for me is a little bit too high. Let's give this one between 3 and 4 Wassies. We don't give half Wassies. That would be barbaric. There's clearly a lot of potential here, but I think if this is going to be a card which sees enough play, we're going to have to get into an exceptionally basic-heavy format, and I just don't think we're there, unfortunately, which is a little bit sad. Never mind, because it's not the only new supporter card we've got here. We've also got Drayton, which, yes, you may have figured out, also a Dragon-type trainer, which is lovely. Again, Paradise Dragona is a dragon-themed set. Not sure exactly how much yet, we'll figure that out later. And what you do is you look at the top 7 cards of your deck, you find a Pokemon and a trainer, any kind of Pokemon, reveal them, put them into your hand, and shuffle the other cards back into your deck. It's fun, but it's a supporter card. And this really strikes me as if you're playing sealed, if you're playing draft, if you're playing pre-release, any limited format, this is going to be potentially brilliant. But in standard, in constructed, I just worry it's not quite good enough. Getting a Pokemon is good, but we've got plenty of item cards that can do that. Getting a trainer is good, but I just worry it's a little bit underwhelming. Yes, Arven sees a lot of play right now, and this is in some ways a little bit similar to Arven, but Arven gets a tool and an item, and tool can include Forest Seal Stone, which can then get you anything, and that is, I think, one of the reasons why Arven stands out a little bit more here. I'm not saying this is a bad card, but I am saying it's maybe not going to be a staple in every deck. Let's go ahead and give this between 3 and 4 Wassies. We don't give half Wassies, that would be barbaric. I think it will pop up in some decks, but I don't think it's going to be played in enough decks to make it really worth it. And for that, I'm sorry. So there's a couple of supporter cards. How about we talk about a card that I really like here? And let's be clear, I really like here. It's Passimian. I adore this new Passimian. Passimian gets fun cards, and this new Passimian, as far as I'm concerned, gets a very, very, very fun card. And what it does for 2 energy is it does 20 damage for each basic Pokemon that you have in play. So in theory here, you get yourself a full bench of basic Pokemon, and you're doing 120, which is good, except it's actually better than that. Although, to be fair, that will hit Terapagos for weakness and KO Terapagos, which is clearly brilliant. But it's better than that, ladies and gentlemen, because you see, Area 0 Underdepths will let you have 8 benched Pokemon. And if you've got 8 benched Pokemon here, then you can actually get 9 Pokemon in total, which means you're actually doing 180. Yeah, 120 is nice. 180 is obviously better. That's what I think this really comes into its own. I like this very much indeed. And it's a basic Pokemon for a couple of energy. It's not the hardest Pokemon to get rolling. And you can be doing pretty big damage here while you're at it. I'm just saying this seems pretty good. Sure, you'll need to basically make sure you're playing an entirely or nearly entirely basic Pokemon deck. And you might not want to do that. But seriously, there's enough good basics around and basic support, you should be fine. But with Area 0 Underdepths and a bunch of other basic Pokemon, I'm just saying this one feels like it could be pretty gosh darn good. I like this. I am keeping my eye on it. I think it could be awesome. What else have we got here? Well, we've got ourselves a new Dusk Ball. Yeah, that's right. We've got Dusk Ball. What does Dusk Ball do? You look at the 7 cards from the bottom of your deck, find a Pokemon, put it into your hand. It's Dusk Ball. It's actually a straight reprint of old Dusk Ball. We've had Dusk Ball around for... Well, it's not been around for a while, but we've had Dusk Ball in the past. And this does now what it did then. It is a reprint of Dusk Ball. We had it in Majestic Dawn. We had it in Mysterious Treasures back in Gen 4. Now we've got it back here. It is fine. It's Pokemon Search. If you know you've got Pokemon on the bottom of your deck, it obviously becomes a lot better. But it's decent Pokemon Search. It's all right. It'll do. Cool. There we go. Now, there are a bunch of other cards which have been revealed that we need to take a little bit of a look at. And some of these are slightly underwhelming. Some of them are a little bit better. But we're going to go a bit quicker through the last few cards here. So we've got ourselves Gouging Fire. I mean, firstly, brilliant Akira Igawa artwork. Yay! But what we've got here is 130 HP. Single energy 30 is pretty terrible. Although if you're hitting for weakness turn 1 going second, you can get some KOs. But free energy, 100 damage. And if your opponent has got 4 or fewer prize cards remaining, it does 70 more. It's 170 for free energy on a basic Pokemon, which is really good. But it's offset by the fact that you can't use it too early in the game. Your opponent has to have taken a couple of prizes before this comes out properly. We've got ourselves a new Latios to go with a Latias EX I showed you earlier. And free energy 110 is thoroughly underwhelming. And then we got 2 energy, choose one of your opponent's Pokemon, deal 50 damage. Now, it's 2 energy, and it doesn't KO evolving or support Pokemon. And that's my answer here. I think if it did 70, and you could be KOing basic Pokemon that are evolving or supporting, I love it. But it doesn't do that, and that makes me slightly underwhelmed. Sorry about that. Klefki, we've got a 70 HP basic Pokemon. Single energy 20 is terrible. But single energy, trash a card from your hand, draw 2. Okay. I mean, it's a basic Pokemon that does it for a single colourless energy, so it's easy to tech into decks. It starts building up your discard that some decks want to do while drawing a couple of cards. It's not particularly great. It's going to be nuts in pre-release. It's going to be really good in pre-release. But as it is, it's fine. It's not terribly exciting, but it's a decent starting Pokemon. I don't think it's good, but I think it's all right. Now we've got a Dialga here. Dialga is an interesting one, because there's a lot going for it, right? 130 HP, it's a dragon Pokemon, so no weakness, free energy 160, but then you notice the attack cost and it's super awkward and annoying. Although lovely Takumi Wada artwork. Then we've got single colourless energy, and search your deck for any 2 cards, shuffle your deck, and then put the 2 cards you found on top of your deck. So you search for any 2, put them on top. The problem is you're doing this going into your opponent's turn. Supporter cards that do this, I'm looking at you, Cypher Maniacs Code Breaking. Yeah, let's do this. But attacks that do it, if your opponent plays something like an INO here, you're just in a lot of trouble. So, yeah, sorry about that. Bit of potential. I don't think it's going to work. And then finally, we've got ourselves Altaria here. And what we've got is another dragon Pokemon, which is lovely. And for a single energy, you search your deck for 2 energy and attach them to your Pokemon in any way you like, and then shuffle your deck. I like attaching 1 energy to Altaria to accelerate 2 energy, but it's a stage 1 Pokemon. I'm doing no damage to accelerate 2 energy, but it's only really accelerating 1 energy, so I've got to put 1 on Altaria to accelerate 2. Nah, mate, not gonna work. Yeah, sorry about that. And then we've got 2 energy, 100 damage, flip a coin, and if heads, during your opponent's next turn, this Pokemon takes no damage from attacks. Okay. And on the one hand, I really like this, it gives immunity for a turn. On the other hand, it's 2 different energy on a stage 1 that only does 100 damage, and I think that might be a little bit underwhelming in the long run. Sorry about that. But hey, now I've shown you all the new cards in Paradise Dragona, so now it's over to you guys. Tell me what you think about these new cards. Tell me if any of them look particularly exciting to you. Tell me what you think about this set as a whole. Tell me your dreams for dragon cards in this set. Go nuts in the comment section, but be nice. And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at @TheWasi. That's where we talk about Pokemon and a whole bunch of other card games. And please do consider checking out patreon.com/PTCG Radio, where you can support the channel, get some bonus podcasts and all kinds of fun things. But by far the most important thing, as always, look after yourselves till next time, would ya? Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching PTCG Radio.